Listening to Blue Collar Tribe Podcast, and I am your host, Splash. We are live on Facebook right now and on YouTube, and I'm live on TikTok. We're trying a new thing here, so you can find me on those places at The Real Splash because I'm The Real Splash. I have an awesome episode. This episode is not going to be live for a few weeks, but if you want to catch a sneak peek and get early access to it and be part of the conversation with me and my guests, then you can find me there. The Facebook group is Blue Collar Tribe because, well, that's your tribe. That's your land for you to go. And I'd like to thank my sponsor right now, this time, Graco. If you aren't using a Graco sprayer, you are absolutely missing out. The 390 PC is their base model that I would tell anyone that wants to buy a sprayer. That's the entry-level sprayer you want. And now they're powered with DeWalt with their FlexVolt. It's an amazing battery-operated system. So if you're out in the middle of nowhere like I've been in Winnemucca, Nevada, you know sometimes you don't have power. So the best option is to have a battery or generator. So in this option for me, reach out and get the FlexVolt powered by DeWalt, included in the Graco sprayers. They have a full line of them. So contact your local retailer. And there you go. Thank you, Graco. Now, I want everyone to listen to this. I know it's Monday. You're listening to this. If you're watching this live, it's not Monday. You know what day it is. But I have a guest on, and something that I've been working on is, those who have been following me for years know that I love new tools. You guys know that I love the tool world, that not every tool is for everybody, but there's tools that are created that are for people out there. So I've been looking the last few months, probably about the last 8 months, like what kind of tools are out there, what's doing it. Because if you listen to episode 1 of season 7, I talked to Andy from Stinger Paintbrushes, and he kind of spilled his guts on what it was like. And I have a guest. Her name is Rachel from PaintLogic Solutions. How are you doing, Rachel?
Wonderful. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining. Now, Rachel, your story is a lot different than Andy's. Very different.
Yes.
But I absolutely love it. Now, real quick, if you're on TikTok watching us, go follow her. It's PaintLogic Solutions. You won't be able to see it on TikTok, but if you jump on the YouTube page or the Facebook page, you can see the live product. When we launch, you can see the product. When I launch this on the week that it is, I will show a picture on Instagram as well. So grammars, you're still part of the tribe. Just, I can't have so many cameras up. I'd be like, I feel like I'm in Hollywood at that time, and I don't want to be. Twine. What's wrong with my words this morning? So, Rachel, let's talk about it. Are you blue collar right now? Do you consider yourself blue collar?
I actually always kind of have been at heart, my parents owned a construction company, and my mom always flipped furniture. They flipped houses. So I've been around that world forever. And then I went to dental hygiene school, and I was in the dental world, but now I'm back to the construction world.
The blue collar tried to leave you, but it just won't. It's good. That's awesome that you grew up around that. I have a daughter. I'm excited to hear what she says as she's grown up around me.
Yeah.
You have stories. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Long hours, or maybe you jumped on a job site because you wanted to see your dad.
Yes. Shooting my finger with a nail gun. Yeah.
Hey, you have a story though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of stories, I want you to share your story with us. So Let's be real. You work in an office. COVID happened. We've all were there. It's funny when you hear people say, I got a story, and you're like, well, I can relate, but after those words leave your mouth, like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
When you talk about COVID, if you're above the age of 5, because you can remember things, you're always going to be like, I remember.
Yeah.
So COVID hit.
Right.
You're on the West Coast.
Yeah.
It hit everywhere. And you weren't working in your office.
Right. I was doing hygiene for about 10 years. All of a sudden, COVID comes out of nowhere. We get a call, hey, don't show up tomorrow. We don't know when you're going to show up, you know? And so I have 2 young boys, and so they were doing Zoom school at home and all that. We're trying to, you know, navigate that whole thing. And so I started to fix up a lot of furniture and flip it during this time. And I was constantly getting pulled away from doing the furniture to go help my kids with their computer or the Zoom or, you know, whatever. And that's when this whole idea really hit me.
And what was that idea? That's awesome. You do furniture, but like, what kind of furniture? Do you like go to the thrift store, pick up old furniture, look at Craigslist?
Right. So what I was doing was I was actually going on like Facebook Marketplace, things like that. And I would just get stuff for free. And I could never spend more than $15. That was like my own little game. But I would get furniture for free and then just bring it home, you know, usually paint it, or if I had to, you know, stain it, do something, fix it up. But what was happening was especially actually once the boys went back to school after COVID actually was really when I noticed the big problem, because I had to pick up my youngest son at 12. So I would drop them off. I would get home. By the time I opened up the paint can, found my screwdriver, found my mix stick, pried it open, then poured it into the tray, not knowing how much I was going to use or whatever. So there's always not enough or too much. Then I would paint the furniture and then have to let that dry. In the meantime, it was always drying out in my tray. And I remember then I had to go pick up my son at 12, and I'd be sitting there with this paint in the tray. So now I'm trying to, you know, open the can back, drip it back in, going back and forth to just then go pick up my son and then later have to do the whole process again. And finally it was actually February 21st of 2020, I went to my husband. I'm like, I am so pissed off. I can't take this anymore. This is so stupid. Why are there so many steps in painting? I wish I just had one container that the bottom was like a paint tray, that had like an airtight lid, like a Tupperware container, that I could just pop open a lid and use a roller, use a brush, and then just close it and walk away and have it airtight. And my husband's like, there's got to be something like that. So of course we all go, you know, to Amazon and start searching. Can't find anything, you know, that was permanent, that you didn't set aside. So I definitely thought, okay, if I set it aside, it's going to get stepped on, broken, you know, whatever. And also that was permanent storage, airtight, like replacing the can, not just for a project, you know, to keep it for a couple days. So that's how it started. And then my husband was like, you know, you should go tell our neighbor Jay. He's like the guy that could build anything and has every tool on our street. I told him, and he was like, you know, you should tell our other neighbor, Ken. He does 3D printing. So I went home and I made a super crummy prototype out of cardboard, and I waited for him to get home, and I went and I pitched it to him in his garage. And he's kind of a quiet guy and stuff. And he goes, man, I think that this is a great idea. And I think that you need to get moving on it so that, you know, you could, you know, be the first to do it like this. And he's like, I'll do your prototypes for free. And I was just like, okay, done. I have to do this.
So the prototype is the cardboard box, which you can find in your TikTok page.
Yes.
You actually did. It made me giggle when I saw it. If you're watching us live, she's grabbing it. She's going to show you.
Here we go.
What we're talking about, for those, like my listeners, are very visual. We're talking about a paint tray. I'm going to call out a company who they're a close friend of mine. They're a close friend of Splash's. We've given away tons of their stuff. Handy Paint Pail. You're using one of the red Handy Paint trays,
yes,
which is one of the best, if not the best, on the market.
That's what I kept saying. This is the golden standard for paint trays that are, you know, reusable. Also, it holds a gallon. So that was like, okay, what paint tray holds a gallon, you know, and kind of, because I wanted to make sure mine held.
Now, I know this is a Blue Collar Tribe podcast, but a lot of tools, a lot of things that we do, there's DIYers that they're blue collar. They just enjoy doing blue collar stuff. Like you said, you wanted to flip some furniture because you were bored, not because you need the money. It's amazing the things that you do when you're actually bored, not money based. The way your brain thinks is like, oh, so you made this prototype. Ultimately, the problem that you're having is hey, I want to be able to come and go to my paint bucket and not leave. See, like, so a painter like myself, I'm going to roll out of a 5-gallon bucket.
Exactly.
But I'm using it for 3 rooms and I can put the lid on and go.
Whenever you want. Exactly.
So, but your process of like, listen, I'm a mom, you know, right now I'm a stay-at-home human being for whatever reason, however long it's going to be. You started doing some, you know, like, I mean, I look at it when I saw your idea, the videos on TikTok, I was like, this is interesting because I immediately went to, okay, could I use this on a job site?
Right.
And the answer to me is yes, because your product holds a gallon of paint, which is extremely, extremely important. Like, you said it right. When it comes to painting, there are 100 different steps.
Right.
Whether you're rolling and brushing or you're spraying. So like,
tools.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my thing. It's like, okay, I'm ready to paint. Crap, I don't have a paint tray liner. Oh, where's the screwdriver? By the time I did all that, my kids are yelling at me to wipe their butts. It's like,
if you're not a parent, you got to know that does happen. That is
exactly.
Mom, ask your dad. Dad,
do it yourself. Yeah.
I got to wipe my butt.
Yeah.
It happens. It does.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk prototype.
Yes.
Because, and real quick, Rachel, while we're discussing this, how many different prototypes did it make? Because a question I have for you, and I'm going to jump ahead to the story right now. We're going to jump to today.
Okay.
Even though we're talking about this, you are still in the molding factor. Like your product is getting ready to be live. It's getting ready to have that beautiful logo to curate some things.
Yes.
So right now, you're making a prototype. Like there are people out there that are people just like you that are stay-at-home humans for a while, or they're just like bored and like they want to create a lot of. We don't have all these beautiful things in the world because people aren't creative. We have a lot of beautiful, awesome things in the world because people are like, hey, this sounds hard, but I'm going to fucking do it.
Yes.
And you're here to show us. How many prototypes? First off, how many prototypes did you have?
So I had the cardboard one.
Okay.
And then
and you can go to her TikTok and look at this prototype. It's pretty badass.
Yes. Let me scoot my coffee out of the way here. So actually, this was when I told my husband about it. I went inside and I was so pissed off. And then I went and got my dogs some food out of their container. And this was it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Look, if I could just extend this all the way back, make it wide enough for a roller, you pop it open, this always stays on, like boom, done. It was like just such perfect timing. But
well, thank you for not using your dog's food to roll your paint out of.
Yeah, exactly.
As a dog lover, thank you for not doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So this is actually my first prototype. And we did a double latch in the front, which didn't seem like it was going to be too big of a thing, but it was a huge pain in the butt. So when I was waiting to become a dental hygienist, there was a 3-year wait list after I got, all the prerequisites done. And so I became a dental assistant. And that is when I really became super obsessed with efficiency. Like, how many steps can I take out of this procedure for the dentist so he doesn't have to reach, or, like, how can we make it faster, or, whatever. So I kind of always think that way a bit. So as soon as I saw this, I didn't like that you had to use your hand, 2 hands to open it. And unfortunately, there was a last minute change that made it a little narrow. So it was a little bit of a tight fit for the roller. So this was the first real kind of more professional prototype. And then we made some changes, and I have the one that is working now that I'm, reaching out to the manufacturers with, this guy.
I like it.
So so really 3.
So you've had 3 prototypes.
Yep.
What's the name of it? I don't actually know if I've said it on here. So what is the name of it? So the
name of this tray is Kick the Can.
Kick the Can.
Yep. Because you pour in an entire gallon of paint. You write the name of the paint on a reusable label on the outside. You take a picture of the label, store it in our website down the road. And then you throw the can out. You get rid of it. You don't ever have to get in and out of it ever again.
Wait. We got to back up a little bit.
Yes.
We got to back up just a little bit. So you've already gone ahead and realized that you have something as an inventor. I call you a creator, but a tool inventor.
Yeah.
You're going to load this. Whoever purchases. So let's say you buy 3 of them.
Right.
Okay. You buy 3 of them. This is perfect for rentals, for painters that do rentals.
Yes.
For painters that do, even if you're not at the painter, you're just doing the rental.
Yep.
I do have customers. I when I had my paint business, I eventually got to customers that would want us to paint their house once a year. They're just clients. There's just people that really like fresh paint.
Right.
So
right.
Ideally, I'm pulling the curtain back on this because I love it, Rachel. It's like, look, I'm not just going to create a tool. You're thinking about it. I know yesterday you had a big conversation because there's some things coming up.
Yes.
Like it feels like, and what I wanted to really have you on is like, you're really sharing this story of like, listen, there's a lot of work.
Right.
There's a lot of things I don't really fucking know, but
Right.
You went to school, you didn't know that stuff. You figured it out. So
Totally.
when we buy these, we can load them on your website in time and say, hey, this master bedroom was this. These are the paint colors. You scan.
Exactly.
So if you go
I have like 3 or 4 main colors that I get in and out of often. It's our, the outside fence, the main colors in the house, all that kind of stuff. Especially when I was doing furniture, I would paint everything either a dark gray, a white, or a black, so I always had those. I had a primer.
How to stay trendy.
Like my paint cans, surely this one had about that much paint taken out of it when I got super pissed off that day and wanted to change the seal. I don't have time to be like super neat and clean, and I'm not a professional painter. So it's, it's messy, it's dripping. This seal was so broken, and I only had that much paint taken out. It was almost a full gallon just because I get in and out of it so often.
So the paint tray idea is to store paint.
Yes.
So when I talk about rentals, like I want to hit this home run. Like we hit the ball, it's in the air. Let's get it over the fence.
Yes.
If you have rentals. Now I started my paint business by working with rental companies.
Oh,
They'd hire me every year. We'd come in, and every time a new tenant. So whether that was the full year lease, a 6-month lease, most rentals want the same color.
Right.
Okay. So, a lot of times we're buying 5-gallon buckets. Let's be real, but we're going to pour that into a paint tray to paint.
Right.
So what you're saying with this product, we can buy them, have them set for that particular house, because most rentals stay rentals for years.
Yes.
You keep it in there, scan the logo. We already know what color it's going to be. We can even tape it back onto this product.
Yep.
When we're done, they store. One cool thing you way thought in advance. I asked you this yesterday. It's like, let me see if she really thought about this. They stack.
Yes. Yeah, this one is a little bit smaller. It's going to be great once I have 2 that are exactly the same. But not only do they stack, but they actually kind of sink into each other. So they're going to be a little bit more shallow than, truly having like, one on top of the other. It has a little lip in here that the base can go into.
Yeah.
And also another, I don't think I brought it up, but when I do get this manufactured, it's going to be made out of a clear plastic, so you can see across the garage what color you have and estimate how much you have.
I like it. So for those that are sitting at home right now, or they're driving to work listening to this podcast and thinking, hey, I have a great idea.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest thing right now?
Oh man, the hardest thing is mapping out what needs to happen. So I'm a huge, I tell this to my kids. If you're doing a maze, at a restaurant, a little, kids menu, if you start at the finish and go to the start, it's so much easier. Instead of they're trying to trick you if you go this way, So I always say, start at the finish line and work your way backwards. My mom's amazing. She's the one that always put that in her heads. So that was my thing. Okay, I want to get this manufactured. How do I do that? So first things first, as soon as I went down to my neighbor that was, with the 3D printing company, he gave me a referral to an engineer. I met with him. I explained it. I had everything. This engineer he wasn't a painter, and he did not get it. And everything that he gave me, he would take a while. And everything that he gave me was just kind of close, but just not what I exactly wanted, you know? And so I ended up letting him go, but it kind of ate up a couple months in the beginning. So I went across the street. I talked to my, we have a great couple that lives across the street. They're in their like mid 70s to 80s. He's a retired engineer, and all I knew is that he had a robot or something. So I went and knocked on his door, and I'm like, I want to do this. What do you think? Come to find out, he is a scuba gear engineer, and he did all the airtight seals. So he knows about plastic and seal. You know, he knew it was just, we spent hours in his garage going over gaskets and everything. So I would say my number one thing is make a list of everybody that you know. And my logo, for instance, my husband, he does real estate. He had a client that had a beer company, and that's a really, you know, hard little, you know, bit of area to get into business. But, you know, we knew we loved his brand. We loved his logo, stuff like that. My husband gets a gym membership after COVID kind of was over. And the first day back into the gym, he sees the guy that did his branding in his logo. And he didn't really know him, but he went up to him, he introduced himself, and he told him about my thing. And Eric, the guy was just like, you know what? This is perfect timing. It was the beginning of the summer. He's like, I'm doing an intern program. It sounds like she knows what she wants. Would she be willing to work with these kids and do the intern program, and she could get it for free? Yeah. So it was just like, yeah, definitely, you know? So just networking, reaching out to everybody that you know. What do you do? What, you know, can you help me with this? Can you steer me in a direction, you know? But then also just really having a roadmap. And I'm constantly in the pursuit of trying to figure out what I don't know. So if you're just trying to always gather information and kind of plug it into where it needs to happen in your roadmap, that's been helpful for me.
Well, I want to continue the roadmap conversation. It goes with how you and I met. So let's get to that after this message from our sponsors.
Attention Tribers. Plant-Powered Marketing is your cutting-edge marketing agency specializing in SEO, Google My Business, website development, and many other strategies that get you ranked #1 on Google. We're your go-to marketing agency for businesses who want to see real, tangible results from their online presence. Our team of experts has years of experience in getting businesses to the top of Google and generating leads through effective online marketing campaigns. Remember to let us build your next website. Contact us if you want to outrank the competition. Plant-Powered Marketing, 971-570-0511 or plantpoweredmarketing@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you, everyone. So roadmap. Let's get to Rachel.
I need a website. I need that.
You do. Everybody. He's been a guest on the show. There's an episode, Plant-Powered Marketing. It's important. It's like it's another tool for anybody that has a business. And you're learning this. We had a great conversation when we talked the first time on the phone. You know, because I want to make sure I say this the right way, because I know I can come off a little bit different when said, but I'll try to speak the proper language here. But like,
you don't have to on my end, but that's fine.
it takes a lot to be a tool creator. Yeah. I have a lot of friends in the industry that are contractors. A majority of those friends have tools that are in stores.
Right.
You know, I have 1 or 2 tools on 100 shelves right now myself. But there's a lot. So my passion that I have comes from seeing and hearing your story as a creator, as an inventor. Let's use the right word, Splash, as an inventor. And when I saw you, and there's a few other people I've reached out to, it's like, this is a great tool. But I'm going to share with the audience what I told you yesterday. There's one big thing that I want to make very clear to inventors. If someone says this next phrase to you, you do not let them leave in front. You don't ever let them leave. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Hey, Rachel, your product is $1 million idea.
Right.
If someone says that to you, don't fucking leave their site. You say, write me a check right now. It's yours. Write me the damn check right now. Send over Bitcoin, send over crypto, because you yourself maybe not the $1 million been thrown out yet, but you've heard that.
Right. Oh, yes.
Now, I shared a little story with you, so I've never shared it on my podcast, but I'll share this. So I think it's important that people understand the background of Splash, why this comes to. I had a beautiful human being like yourself that he created a tool. It's an amazing paint tool, like amazing.
Right.
Spent 8 months, me and my workers behind me, like I am the face. I'm out
Right.
here. I'm not afraid to show this face, beard or no beard. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do some dumb TikTok dances. I'm going to
Let
show you
us
how to
shine.
work the tool.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I have very close friends that were partners in what we're doing. And we spent 8 months going around and around. And the number one thing, every time we made an offer, because we're in the market of maybe buying tools, or
Right.
we're in the market, like I told you, like, hey, I know you have a great tool. Let us hold your hand and walk you through
Right.
what we know. Because
Yeah.
we have, this is going behind the scenes, but hell, this is what the show is for.
Right.
We have SKUs in Australia. I have SKUs in Brazil, in England, in Russia. What that means for the latter that are listening to this, meaning I have the access, me and my group have access to stores like Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, Menards,
Right.
Depot, Lowe's, worldwide, and all a bunch of different stores, small and big pop-up stores, that we can say, hey, look, we found this really cool tool. We should put this on here. So this particular tool, every time we went to close the deal, this gentleman said to me, look, I was told at this conference, my product is $1 million idea. I
Right.
can't sell it.
God.
3 years later, now let's fast forward to today. I'm still getting emails saying, hey, I'm not making any sales.
Right.
Is that deal still available that you offered me? No, it's not.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Right.
And so when I met you, I listened to your conversation. We had a beautiful conversation, and I left you with, I said, hey, listen, Rachel, whatever you do, write a number down.
Right.
I know you either have done it or you're going to, but like, what I mean by that is I want you to be successful in the creating of tools, because I know it takes some cojones, some huevos
Yeah. A
to
little
put,
crazy.
you
Yeah.
gotta be loco,
Yeah. For sure.
to create something, because so much comes with it. You have all your friends and neighbors, like you said, network. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Network. Live the motto of Splash. I'm the biggest mooch you'll ever meet. The worst thing you're going to do is tell me no. And all that no means is there's a yes down the road. Because
Totally.
someone's going to like
Exactly.
me enough and be like, hey, we'll go with you.
Yeah.
Same thing. But you've had a lot of your friends and family say, hey, Rachel, this is thousands of dollar idea. You're going to hit this. You're going to do this. You already, without disclosing it, you did tell me, and I appreciate that you trust me. Like, you have like 3 or 4 other tools that I already
Yes.
know, like, they're valuable.
Right.
So we talked about this, and you got, like, when you create a tool, it's like having a kid.
Right. Exactly.
You grow it up,
Yeah.
and you're getting ready to sell these. They're going to be on the market soon,
Yes.
and you may decide that you just want to be a paint lady,
Right.
a blue collar tool creator.
Totally. Yeah.
If you're holding on to that one tool, how can you focus on the creation of others? What I'm
Exactly.
getting to is the time.
Yes.
Like, could you put in hours on how many hours you've spent doing this?
Oh God, no. It would be. I mean, it's an obsession. It's
Do you dream about it?
Oh God. Yes, constantly. The first month or so, when I'm like, how do you get a patent? What is a patent? What do I need? What do I can't talk to anybody until I have it. I mean, just not knowing anything but teeth, and then coming to this world, it's like, oh, and it's just not a very known thing. I think what the problem is, and I know I said this to you yesterday, it's the same thing like a root canal. It's the same thing like childbirth. If it's a smooth process, it's not really that great of a story. So most of the time, the stories that you hear are like the horrible root canals or the horrible births or whatever. And so the same thing kind of happened in the very beginning. You definitely get a couple of people that are like, are you nuts? Oh, geez, you guys, you can't afford it. It's going to be trillion bagillions of dollars. It's just like, okay, well, let's really work it out. And it will be in the end, but maybe I could do it in chunks, or, just break it down to make it doable.
I love what you said earlier, that you start at the end and go.
Right.
I teach my kids the opposite: finish the damn task. But
Totally.
I
Just
feel
shut
like
up.
I
Yeah.
like you just parented me. I'm like, oh shit, I did it wrong. I should be telling you this stuff. But it makes sense. Like, the conversation we had yesterday was great. Um, I learned a lot from you because I've never I say I have a tool, like I told a buddy, like, here, do this, and they did it, and it's on shelves right now. But like, I've never done what you've done. I've never done what Andy from Singer Paintbrush has done,
Yeah.
or one of my bestest friends, Bucket Edge, Ben.
Right.
Like, I've never done that.
Right.
Because honestly, if I'm being real, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I just don't think I have the mental capacity for that because I am an instant gratification person.
Already. Okay. Right. Right. Yeah. You gotta like the journey for sure.
Yes, like you guys want that journey, and I love seeing the success. Like, I'm excited to get my hands on one. We talked
Yeah.
about it. Like, you said you had a kid. I asked you, like, hey, can I stand on it? Can my 200
Right.
pound badass stand on it?
I wrote that down last night. Make sure it's strong enough to stand on. Andy asked me the same thing too. Is it a stepstone? Like, why does everybody want to stand on it?
Because, and no joke, there's always that 3 inches that we want.
Totally.
Because the wall's just a
Right.
little taller than what we are.
Totally.
So it's like, that's why we said that. But you said, though, you had a neighborhood kid come and
Yes.
sit on your cardboard one.
The second I made my cardboard box, it's actually the kid that was his dad. I was waiting to talk to his dad, the 3D printing neighbor.
Yeah.
And he comes up, hey, Rachel, steps on it. It's soaking wet. I'm like, what are you doing? But apparently people, you know what's kind of funny? I kept saying with the design, I want it to look like a squatty potty. I like the design of a squatty potty. So I think my design kind of makes it look a little stool-like as well.
Yeah, if you angled it, as someone who uses one of those, I highly recommend that every human have a squatty potty in their
Yes.
house.
Oh, that's amazing invention. Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation.
A whole nother thing. Yeah. I keep going back to the toilet. The butt white, I don't know.
Yeah. But what has been your favorite thing? Like, you're a very energetic person. I know that you live in one of the best cities in the world. So it's of course that you would always be smiling and, but what I love about you, Rachel, and I would recommend this to anybody that's a tool creator, that you're inventing something. Put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You and your husband are funny on TikTok.
Thank
You're
you.
funny yourself.
Thanks.
You use your creative mind. Obviously, you've created a tool, so that creativity is already there.
Yeah.
And you know what? I there's a few guys I work with that have created tools that they have no sense of humor. And that's that's where we come in, Splashco Media. We come in and we help them. We do the things in front of the screen, and we just tell them to invent it. You never know that we even touch. So if you're a tool creator, contact me. That's what we do also for you guys, for your companies. But you have fun.
Right.
And it's energetic. I'm trying, the words slip in my mind, but it's COVID was a horrible time for a lot of people.
I know.
We took that time, but it really sounds to me, and congratulations to you and your family and everyone that's helping you through this process. Like,
thank you.
You've taken that negative space and be like, you know what? No, we're going to flip the dial.
Right.
I'm going to bullshit a little bit. Wait, here's a cool idea.
Right. And my main thing with this is I love being a dental hygienist. I really did. But once I had kids, you are there from morning to 5. If you don't have a patient, you're still there. I missed a lot. And I was kind of always looking for something that gave me more time flexibility. And that's when COVID did come around. We just moved to this street, actually right in the beginning of COVID. So I wouldn't have known any of these connections if we didn't move as well. But I just kept saying, okay, right in the beginning of COVID, I told my husband, this is it. This is our opportunity to get out of this hamster wheel of life. It wasn't horrible, but it was not what I wanted exactly, So I'm like, there's always some kind of opportunity or something that comes out of the whole world shutting down for a bit, So it was we were kind of in that thing of like, what can I do? And I remember I was like, hey, I'm doing pretty good fixing up furniture, and I'm, keeping a system and working it like a business. And my husband's like, well, when the kids go back to school, if you have that up and running, then don't go back to hygiene. So that was kind of always the break. And I thought about this in in kind of like right in February, and it was just like the timing of the kids going back. It was like right when it was like, no, this is go time, So and then my other big thing is my kids are watching me, and I get to be home with them, and they get to see my 9-year-old goes to school, and he interrupts his teacher. And my mom's an inventor when they're learning about, Albert Einstein or somebody amazing, It's like, they are watching me. They get to see this process, and they get to see me not give up. And I tell them all the time, everything, like I said, is a map, right? So you might think that this is the direction that you need to go, and it might be the direction that you need to go for that little street. But then there's going to be a right turn or a left turn. And then you find out what you need for that street. And then that will get you to that end destination. Just because it didn't work out, or just because there was a no or whatever, you got what you needed, whether if it was experience or whatever, for that little street, then to kind of get you where you need to go. It's not a failure.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And it's your success has already happened. The story's still being written, and you've taken that dial and turned it during COVID,
Right.
And I love the thing about the kids, I woke up this morning, and I buy a lot of hats and hoodies. Anyone that follows me knows I have tons of, splash gear.
Yeah.
My son this morning is like, "Hey Dad, do you have any more hats?" I'm like, "Yeah," but like in my studio where I'm in right now, 2 dogs and a guy, I have a bunch of hats hanging up, and I've been very adamant, like tell them, all 3 of my kids and my wife, like, "Hey, these do not get worn.
Right.
If I wear it, it's me. Don't touch
It's
them."
special. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they just mean something. So,
Right.
Rachel, when you get a hat, I need one for the office. But he's like,
Absolutely.
"No, I want one of these hats." I said, "Okay." He's like, "I just like repping your stuff at school."
Oh, it's so awesome.
And so you said, like, your kids are so proud of you. They see you succeeding. They get to participate in it. My kids have been on
Okay.
job sites with me. They
Yes.
they tell their friends stories. Their friends come over like, "Hey, when you paint a fence, my mom and dad need their," and it's a
Yeah.
different story for you, and share those. They're important to, know.
And I see
Um,
it really change their brain too. Like I had a shoe that was falling off, and I'm like, damn, a shoe. And my 6-year-old comes up, and he's like, here, Mom, I made a strap. It just like gets you in that problem solving, space.
mhm,
So it's like, okay, great. What are they gonna do, down
yeah.
the road?
You never know what door you're opening, and more than that, how many people are watching you.
Right.
There's a
Right.
million. Now I know I go on TikTok every day. I want people to watch me. You go on
Thank
TikTok.
God. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you want people to, but the moral of that is, the more that moral is like, you could have inspired more people through just the connections.
Right.
And it's beautiful. You have husbands and wives at home, your neighbors, like, "Hey, I should do this. I thought about this idea." And
Right.
that's one thing, I want to, commend you on, is that you've persevered through a very difficult time for a lot of people,
Yeah.
you know, and you're making it. We're going to keep in touch with you, Rachel. The Blue Collar Tribe, we're here. We want to see this product now. When I talk to you, you asked me like, "Hey, would professionals use it, or would just DIYers?" Honestly, I can see both ends. I really
Really.
can. Like, if there are a lot of paint companies I know that run rentals. That's all they do. This is a
Right.
perfect tool for them.
Right.
You know, um, if you're a professional painter and you're doing just interiors, I could see a purpose for it.
Right.
You go on lunch, you're going to be using gallons, because we haven't really talked about the meats and bones of your product, because I want
Right.
people to go to your TikTok and I want
Right.
them to see it. But your product is basically sent to where you take a full gallon,
Yep.
it dumps it into the paint tray. I'm trying to
Yeah.
verbally explain this. Well, if you're watching the video, if you want to see this video, go on YouTube. We're at like minute 38 of the conversation. You can see this. It holds the paint can in there.
Right.
So you could pour it in there. While that's dumping in, go get a cup of coffee or some Kool-Aid like
Yes.
I get. Go, grab your, if you smoke a cigarette, like take your break for a minute,
it.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever you need to do. Let it pour out. Then on the lid, it looks like you have a paint opener. So that will open the paint, right?
Right. So this,
And
this will open. Yep.
and it scrapes the inside of the gallon of paint.
Yes. Yes. This is I love this.
So you have a child cheater. I had to teach my kids what that was. They're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Well, because my mom was a baker.
Oh,
One
right.
of my foster moms was a baker, and we never got to lick the pans." And I said, her son is like, hey, mom, why do you use that spatula? She's like, it's a child cheater. You don't get to taste the cake till it's baked, not before it's done.
Oh, I like that.
So I'm like, I know that's not what they're called, but
Right.
it's a spatula.
Yeah.
So this tool that goes to the door, how is it going to attach to your door?
It's going to be magnetic.
Okay.
So you just throw it up there and it sticks.
Perfect.
And the way I designed it is, and tell me if you can't see what I'm talking about, but I put this little lip right in here. So there's going to be paint on this, eventually, because this has multiple functions. So like you were saying, you get all the paint that drips out of the can. Then once you get it, you go inside. It fits the wall of the can perfectly, and it fits halfway through the bottom. You almost squeegee out all the paint. There's nothing left. Then you throw the can away. Then the other use for it is, let's say that this is just sitting in the garage. You have it locked. It's in the garage. You want to go do your project. All you do is unlock it, pop it open, take the mix stick, use the flat edge on the bottom, give it a mix back and forth, and it goes all the way to the bottom. And then you put it up here. The paint drips nicely right back into the reservoir. It doesn't go into the hinge. And it's all nice and contained right inside. And then the last function, which I know most people know about, but is the scraping of the excess paint off of the roller, so you don't have waste on the roller as well.
Yeah. No, you've done a good thing. You've done a brilliant thing, Rachel. And as a painter, I could see both, the homeowner, and I could see some professionals wanting it. And that's I don't want to say that. I hope that doesn't come off negative to you. I know you don't take it
Not
that
at
way.
all.
But when you're talking professionals to DIYers or people that are just, that true statement of what a DIYer is that professional levels. I have to speak for us because I am. I still own my paint business.
Right.
It's still out there.
Right.
There are tangible reasons for it, but I know you're going to do awesome. I'm really excited to see you grow in the Paint Logic Solutions area. I know we're going to be. I haven't said this, but I'm going to be at the Vegas National Hardware Show with the podcast. We're going to be there. I really hope you can make it.
I am going to be there. We have babysitters lined up, and I am.
It's a 6-hour drive for you guys.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a 6-hour drive for me. I'm actually going to fly. I looked at flights like $40. I'm like, that's easy. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, we'll hopefully see you there. I will see you there. We'll have to do dinner one night when you guys are out there. Your crew and my crew, and get out there. But honestly, what would you tell someone to wrap this up? If you're sitting here right now listening to this and you have a friend that's mentioned they want to create a tool, or you yourself, you're listening to Blue Collar Chat podcast, like, wow, Splash, this is like really different episode for me. But I was hanging off a 30-foot ladder and I thought, hey, this would be great if I had it. What advice would you give someone right now to say, hey, what would you tell them to do?
This is the advice my mom gave me. You can do, or you can learn absolutely anything if you put in enough time and effort. So go to Google and just start searching and like I said, get your network of people that you can trust, that have some kind of experience in whatever aspect it is of the business. And I think the biggest thing is, and I think that this kind of helps with me, being a girl and stuff like that, I never try to act like I know what I'm doing. I know everything about teeth. I don't know anything about this world. So I think that being open and so then people are naturally able to just give me information or referrals or help, because I'm saying, I don't know what I don't know. What tell me what I don't know, So that's been a huge part of it. It's just being open to I call every single referral I get, even if I don't think it's a great match, it's me practicing my pitch. It's me practicing so that I'm more polished when I do find the manufacturer that I want. You gotta try everything and follow through with everything. Don't be afraid of any no's. Don't be afraid of anybody that doesn't get it or whatever. Just move forward, get a business plan to make sure that you're, doing what you want to do and you have an end number, an end goal, but just keep moving forward and learn, look it up.
That's very, those are very inspiring and amazing words, Rachel. I appreciate it. And right now, typically, I would say, hey, let's end with some intro music, but I'm going to throw you on the spot because I know you made a rap about your product. So I'm
Yes.
going to give you the stage. Have you shared this with anybody live yet?
Okay, no. So so here's how this came to be, and I'll make it quick because I know we're wrapping up. But I am horribly dyslexic, and so when I started this whole product, and then it really turned into a brand, I'm like, what do I want this brand to be? I want it to be different. We're gonna do black and white stripes. I don't want to compete with color on Home Depot shelf. We're gonna how can we be different? I, being dyslexic, would never sit down and read somebody's bio. And so I thought, well, I'll do a traditional bio for people that want that, but I'm also going to do it in a rap. And so I'm actually going to film the rap and then post it soon, but I'll give you a little sneak peek if you like.
All right. I'm excited. I heard like a tinge of it for a minute in pre-recording. So Rachel from Paint Logic Solutions, Kick the Can. Here's the debut of your rap. Let's hear it.
All right. So what's that? You want to know how Paint Logic and Kick the Can came to be? Well, I guess it all started with me. You see, my brain, it works a little differently. I'm dyslexic as can be and completely obsessed with efficiency. I have 2 young boys that call me mommy, and my husband, he sells homes by the sea. Fast forward to 2020, suddenly COVID's on the scene. I knew my career in dental hygiene could no longer be, so I started to flip furniture for a fee. But painting, it's so messy. The prep, the cleanup just wasn't for me. So one day, when going pee, I thought to myself, let me see, how can I make painting easy peasy? Just then it hit me. Paint trays need an LID that can lock so tightly, but can also pop open, so I could use my roller with ease whenever I please. Now, do you see how I became to be the CEO of Paint Logic? It was all a dream to help busy people just like me paint with more efficiency. I promise once you kick the can, you'll feel so free. Are you ready to experience the way painting should be?
I would clap for you, but my microphone's right here to be super loud.
Don't do it. Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that. That was beautiful, Rachel. I'm excited to see you further. So you can find Rachel at Paint Logic Solutions on TikTok. I don't know if you're on the gram right now. I actually didn't know what other places, but are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook.
All right.
I'm working on my website right now, and I'm getting a mailing list together and all that.
Yeah. So if you want to create a tool, Rachel's the person. She knows. She's in it live. Listen to her. It's a beautiful thing you got going. I know you got to run. I got to run. Much love to you, Rachel. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for your support.
Look forward to seeing this, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. And I won't use this as a step stool or squatty potty, but
hopefully you can. That's my new goal.
We're just giving you tons of ideas. Thank you so much, everyone. And don't forget, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all the things. I'm even on this new platform that I don't even know. It is called Stimulus. I'm everywhere right now. It's actually from the creators of Sticker Mule, which I love. It's a new social media platform that everyone's verified before you get on. Kind of lets the riffraff out of the bag. I've been using it now. I've been doing the test pilot, part of their test pilot program, and I actually love it. It seems like a great community. So you can find me everywhere at The Real Splash, because I am The Real Splash. Facebook group is Blue Collar Tribe. Go find Rachel at Paint Logic Solutions and tell her Splash sent you, and watch her journey. This is what is so beautiful. To wrap this up, we get to still watch your journey. Yes. Because you don't have the product in hand. Right. So you're going to have a full force of blue collars, DIYers that are sitting here saying, listen, let's see this happen.
Yes, yes.
Until later, everyone, this is Splash. That is Rachel. Thank you all very much, and we will see you later.
Thank you.